Maybe it's not an accident that this video found you today. Maybe it appeared because something inside you has been whispering lately. There must be more than this. You've been moving through days that all look the same, carrying small, invisible weights no one else can see. Smiling when you're tired. Saying it's fine when it isn't. And yet, some quiet part of you still believes there's a gentler way to live. A way where small moments matter again. Where words heal instead of harden. If you're still here, stay a little longer. This isn't another rush of motivation. This is a return to the part of you that still knows how to feel. Take a slow breath, and if something inside you begins to soften as you listen, leave a simple comment below. Just a word or two your heart needs to hear today. Not for the algorithm, not for anyone's approval, but as a small promise to yourself. Thank you for still trying, because maybe that's where change begins, not with a big breakthrough, but with quiet gratitude for the fact that you're still here, still listening. There's a memory that often comes back to me, a small, simple moment. I was standing in a crowded New York diner on a rainy morning. People rushed in with damp coats and tired faces, eyes fixed on the clock. I ordered a cup of coffee. The waiter, clearly exhausted, spilled a bit on the saucer as he set it down. I smiled and said thank you. He froze, looked at me for a moment, almost confused. Then he whispered, "You're the first person today who said that." That was all. Just a few words, but I saw something shift in his face. The tension left his eyes. For a brief second, that gray morning seemed a little brighter. As I stepped back into the rain, I thought, how many lives could be changed by two simple words? Thank you. Years later, I still think about that morning. Only now, I ask the same question in a different world. A world of smartphones and scrolling, of hurried messages and tired hearts. The faces have changed, the pace has quickened, but the hunger is the same. We all want to be seen. We want to know that for a moment, we matter. Gratitude is my way of saying, I see you. And it's also my way of remembering, I'm still here. I've learned that gratitude isn't just courtesy, it's recognition. That every person we meet is carrying a story, and that our words can either add weight to their burdens or lift them, even just a little. These days, I find my examples not in grand places, but in ordinary ones. The places where real life happens. I think of a barista who wrote, "You've got this," on the lid of a coffee cup and handed it to a woman who looked like she hadn't slept. He didn't know her. He only knew the look of someone standing on the edge. Later, she came back and left a note. "Your words kept me going." The coffee cost a few dollars. The kindness was priceless. I think of a teacher who starts every Zoom class by asking her students to type one thing they're grateful for in the chat. Not to ignore the hard things, but to remind them that the hard things don't get the final word. Some days a student writes, "Nothing." And on those days, she replies, "Thank you for your honesty. I'm grateful you're here." Even through a screen, the room gets a little warmer. I think of a nurse on the night shift who keeps a stack of sticky notes in her pocket. When she has 30 seconds between alarms, she writes small thank yous. Thank you for trusting me with your pain. Thank you for the smile behind your mask. She leaves them on bed rails like tiny lanterns in a dark corridor. I think of a delivery driver who knows every dog on his route, a neighbor who rolls an extra trash bin to the curb for the elderly man next door, a grocery cashier who tells a child, "Thank you for helping your mom today. That's a big job." None of them are trying to be heroes. They're just practicing a habit, noticing. Gratitude at its core is the art of noticing. When I once wrote, "Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Give honest, sincere appreciation," I wasn't offering polite manners. I was offering a way of moving through the world, a way that keeps the heart open when everything around us wants it to close. And here's a quiet truth I've come to understand. When I choose gratitude, I change too. I become easier on others and gentler with myself. My shoulders loosen, my breath deepens, and that small, tight knot of fear behind my ribs begins to unwind. It didn't happen overnight, it rarely does, but there are practices, simple ones, that keep pulling me back toward the light. If you'll allow me, I'll share them with you now, the way a friend might slide a folded note across a kitchen table. I begin the day with thanks. Before my feet touch the floor, I whisper 3 thank yous. One for something I love, one for something I learned, and one for something I still hope for. Some mornings, the words feel small, like pebbles against a mountain. But small things shift mountains over time. Gratitude is patient. It works in seasons. I speak my appreciation out loud. I try not to leave the good unspoken. The world is full of unsent letters, kind thoughts that never made it past our lips. I've done it too often. Thought of the compliment, kept it to myself, and watched a moment of connection slip away. So now I say, thank you for listening. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being brave enough to tell the truth. I say it to my family, to my friends, to strangers who may forget my name, but remember how they felt in that small moment of kindness. And I write what went right. Each night I keep a short record, a few lines about the day's small mercies. The sunlight on the kitchen floor, the text I finally returned, the laugh I didn't expect. On the hard days, the list is brief, but I write it anyway. Because gratitude is a muscle. It grows when we use it. These aren't rules, they're reminders. And I need them because, like you, I forget. It's easy to forget, especially now. We live in a noisy age. The scroll never ends. We're told to measure our worth by counts and clicks, to treat attention as currency and outrage as fuel. But the soul isn't a market. It doesn't grow on profits or perform on demand. It opens with thankfulness. When I feel myself being pulled into the noise, I do something that still surprises me with its simplicity. I pause and say thank you for one thing that is true right now. Not for what I wish were true, but for what is. Thank you for this breath. Thank you for the chance to try again. Thank you for the person on the other side of this screen. A real human being, not a username. Someone who may be hurting, or hopeful, or both. And when I do that, something shifts. The hard edges in my mind soften. I stop scanning for what's wrong and start noticing what's right. Not because the problems disappear, but because I remember I am more than my problems. Gratitude doesn't make us naive. It makes us brave. It doesn't ask us to deny our pain. It invites us to hold our pain in a larger, kinder frame. I know this because I've seen it. At hospital beds, at kitchen tables after layoffs, on sidewalks, outside empty apartments. I've watched how a single moment of appreciation can give someone enough strength to take the next step. It doesn't solve everything. It doesn't need to. It just lights the next inch of the path. And gratitude is contagious, not in a loud way, but in a quiet, steady way that warms a room. A friend once told me about a grocery store where a single customer started a chain reaction. She thanked the cashier by name. The person behind her did the same. 3 people later, someone thanked the bagger too. By the time my friend reached the register, the whole line had shifted from impatience to kindness. No policy changed, no sign was hung, just one person choosing to see the human being in front of them. We underestimate how much our appreciation matters. We tell ourselves it's too small to change anything. But if you've ever had a stranger notice your effort, or a friend thank you for the everyday work you do, you already know the truth. Small thanks land in deep places. So here's an invitation, as gentle as I can make it. Practice gratitude out loud today. Let it be awkward if it must. Let it be simple. But don't keep it in your head. Tell the friend who checks on you, "Thank you for not giving up on me." Tell the colleague who takes on extra tasks, "Thank you for making us better." Tell the delivery driver, "Thank you for being out in all kinds of weather." And tell your own heart, "Thank you for carrying me when I thought I would break." This isn't performance, it's presence. And presence changes rooms. Sometimes people ask me, what if I don't feel grateful? What if I'm too tired, too sad, too worried? I understand. I've known those days too. On those days, I lower the bar. I stop reaching for something profound and reach for something specific. Thank you for the clean glass of water. Thank you for the stretch in my back that reminds me I'm alive. Thank you for the blue jacket on the chair, the one that used to belong to someone I loved. Specific gratitude anchors us to the present. It builds a bridge from the day we wish we had to the day we actually have. And once we're standing on that bridge, even halfway, the view begins to change. There's a practical side to all this, a very human, very ordinary side. When we express appreciation, people do better. Not because we're manipulating them, but because we awaken their sense of worth. I've said for years, be hearty in your approbation and lavish in your praise. And I meant it then, I mean it now. Not flattery, sincerity. Not sugar, sunlight. If you lead a team, gratitude is one of your strongest tools. Catch people doing something right and name it. Give them a reputation to live up to, not one that shames them, but one that shines a light on who they can be. I notice how carefully you prepare. You always think of the quiet voices in the room. You bring calm when the rest of us feel hurried. People rise to meet the picture you paint with your words. If you're raising children, gratitude is a language they learn by hearing. It's not just about saying thank you, though that matters. It's letting them see you thank the server, the janitor, the person fixing the internet, the neighbor who returns a runaway ball. It's teaching them the sacredness of names, because a name is the sweetest and most important sound to any person. And when we say it kindly, we say, "I see you." If you're loving someone through a hard season, gratitude becomes a balm. Not the kind that tells them to cheer up, but the kind that says, "I see how brave you are. I see how you keep going. I'm grateful for every step we take together." Gratitude like this doesn't remove the storm. It builds a shelter inside it. There's another truth I have to say plainly. You can't hold gratitude and bitterness in the same breath. One pushes the other out. When I choose to say thank you, even quietly, even imperfectly, I loosen the grip of anger and fear. I don't pretend the wound isn't there. I simply refuse to let the wound become the whole story. And when I forget, life has a way of reminding me. I remember a morning when everything went wrong. A flight was canceled. A meeting unraveled. Messages piled up. I felt that familiar restlessness rising, the urge to complain, to spread my frustration to anyone who'd listen. But I caught myself. I stepped outside, sat on a bench, and whispered, "Thank you for this chance to practice what I teach." I didn't feel better instantly, but I felt honest. And in that honesty, I found enough patience to make a call, to offer kindness to a gate agent who had already heard too many complaints, and to find my way, slowly, to the next right step. Gratitude is less a mood and more a method. It's a way of moving when the road is uneven. You and I may never control the weather, but we can choose the way we walk through the rain. Let me tell you about a message I once received from a young man who was struggling with loneliness. He started a simple habit. Every night, he sent one thank you text, sometimes to a friend, sometimes to a former teacher, sometimes to a grandparent who didn't always know how to reply but loved getting the message. After 30 days, he wrote me back. I thought this was about making other people feel appreciated. But I think it's saving me. That's what gratitude does. It saves us from the illusion that we're alone, from the habit of focusing only on what hurts, from the story that says nothing will ever change. You might be thinking, that sounds nice, but my life is complicated. Of course it is. So is mine. Gratitude doesn't ask us to simplify a complex life. It asks us to meet that life with a softer heart. So try this with me now. Let's rehearse a few lines you can carry in your pocket. Thank you for waiting while I found the words. Thank you for telling me the truth. Thank you for the chance to try again. Thank you for your patience while I'm learning. Thank you, body, for carrying me this far. Say them to someone you love. Say them to yourself in the mirror. Say them to the next person who shows up in your day. And notice what happens inside you when you do. I used to believe success was about achievement, titles, income, applause. But time has taught me something quieter and truer. Real success is measured by appreciation, by how fully we recognize the gift of being alive and the people who make that life meaningful. Gratitude doesn't mean pretending everything is fine. It means seeing life whole, the joys and the sorrows, and still saying, "Thank you for letting me be part of it." I've known people with much who felt empty, and people with little who radiated peace. The difference was never in what they possessed, but in what they perceived. A grateful heart finds value even in loss. It turns obstacles into teachers and hardships into wisdom. Happiness doesn't depend on our circumstances. It's guided by our attitude. Gratitude is that attitude, practiced day by day. Stand with me for a moment in front of a sunrise. The light begins softly, almost invisible. Then, without fanfare, it touches everything: the trees, the roofs, your face. That's what gratitude does. It doesn't always change the landscape. It changes the light by which we see it. So tonight, before you rest, think of the people who've shaped your life, the teachers who believed in you, the friends who stayed, the ones who answered the phone at 2 a.m., the clerk who smiled when you didn't have the strength to, the stranger who held the door when your hands were full. Say thank you to them in your heart. Even if they can't hear you, say it anyway. Gratitude is never wasted. And tomorrow, when you wake, choose one person to thank out loud. Then write one thing that went right. Then whisper 3 small thank yous before your feet meet the floor. It will feel simple. It is simple. The best things often are. If this spoke to you, leave a line below, just a sentence your heart needs. Maybe it's thank you for second chances. Maybe it's thank you for today's breath. Maybe it's simply thank you. We're all learners in this. We don't need to be perfect. We just need to be willing. So let me end as I began, with 2 simple words that can change everything. Thank you. Tomorrow may never come, but today is here, waiting for you to live it and to say simply, thank you.